Welcome to Neighborhood Update. Summertime in New Bedford is always a wonderful time, and there's always new activities and programs going on. And today we're going to catch up with some folks and talk about something that is new in the city of New Bedford, and it is the Captain Jack Dog Park. With me today to guide the conversation are some special friends of the Captain Jack Dog Park. With me is Lenny Peterson.
Yep.
Welcome to Neighborhood Update.
Thank you. Thank you for having
And
me.
also Lizette David.
Thank you.
So ladies, let's just dive right in this. The park opened in May
Yes,
of
official.
2018, but this initiative, I understand, to establish a dog park has been going on for quite some time. So will you give us the history of how this came to be?
Okay, well, that's you.
Okay.
Because she started at the beginning. So
Okay.
Right, in 2008, they formed a committee through the city council. They have a dog park committee, and they talked about establishing a dog park somewhere in the city. So they formed the committee, and they set up some meetings to figure out, what kind of a dog park we were going to have. And what ended up happening was, over the course of time, we couldn't find a place to have it, a piece of property. There were suggestions made, but some people were opposed to it. Some people didn't want it in their neighborhood. So what ended up happening was we put all the rules and everything together and the regulations. And so we ended up going to the mayor and asking the mayor if you could please help us find a piece of property that we could have this dog park. And we didn't think at first, because Mayor Mitchell doesn't have a dog, so we thought it might be a little difficult for him to understand, what we were looking for and how. But there ended up being a brownfield that was available south of Keith Middle School. And we had a couple of meetings with the environmental protection agencies. And we met with the neighbors on 2 or 3 different occasions. And they seemed to be okay with it. And so we went forward.
And so the park is named after Captain Jack Peterson, your late beloved husband, and for many years, the voice of WNBH, WBSM.
Yeah.
And this was appropriate, Lenny, because both of you have been involved
With animals.
during your lifetime with the support and care of animals. In fact, your husband was an announcer.
Yep, he emceed
For
Pet Fest,
Pet Fest.
which is the Coalition for Animals event that they have every year. And he,
Right, and I understand that he was responsible for the agency Forever Paws for getting many of the pets into homes.
Yep, they called him. Diane called and she said, "Can we do some public service announcements?" So he said, okay. He set it up with the station, and every week they'd send him another dog. And he would say, like, "Hi, this is Joey." And of course there's no pictures, it's radio. So he had to use his words to paint the picture, which he did very well. And he would say, "Joey is, an ambitious little beagle, and he loves to play, and he just needs some discipline, da da da." And after a while, they would call back and they'd say, "Well, he got adopted. Well, he got adopted. Well, he got adopted." So the way he sold it, which is a good thing, is why these animals got adopted. But we were never, they would call him at the radio station, we would get calls at home, "We found a dog, what do we do?" And he always had a list of, call this person, call that person. He didn't have pets when he was a kid. He really didn't get into the animal part of owning an animal till he married me.
So you were the one
I'm the
that...
one, yep. But he would not have allowed me to have the dogs and the cats and the birds if he didn't want them. And actually,
He was a closet animal.
He was, I loved him. And worse yet, Marci, he was the biggest softie. I was the disciplinarian. So if we were playing good cop, bad cop, He was always the good cop.
Well, I didn't know your husband personally. I knew him through the radio.
radio station, yeah.
And he was such a kind person. You could
he was.
feel that over the airwaves.
He was
And so
softy.
I'm sure that he could convince
Anybody
anyone to do just about anything.
He did. We helped place a lot. Plus he got to know everybody. We got to know all the local shelters and stuff, so we could help if they needed something. And then when he had a show for a while on WBSM, it was a pet show. I went on with him. And one December, we did a promotion to adopt animals for the holidays. You just got the certificate. You didn't get the animal until after the holiday. And 350 cats and dogs were adopted during that process. So he was kind of proud of that. You know, it was like quiet but powerful.
Right. And we have a lot of dogs in the city of New
yes,
Bedford.
we
I
do.
see the lines when it's time to renew licenses at the city clerk's office. And so it is appropriate that the dogs should have their special place to have activities and exercise. And this is the only
That's what
dog
Lizette
park,
and I
the
love
first.
about this, because
Right.
it's off leash.
It's off leash.
Which means you can go in and the dog can run without being tethered. If you go into any of our city parks, which the rules apply, you
Right.
cannot take your dog off the leash. You can walk them, but you can't take them off leash.
And
And that's what we loved about this park,
Right,
was it was going to be
absolutely.
free, let them run and do what they want to do and play. And so we love that
Right,
idea.
and we have hounds. Yeah, so our dogs, we just can't let them off leash anywhere.
'Cause
So,
they'll just-
but in the dog park,
They
we
can go.
can. Yeah.
And they get to play. It's good socialization for them. They learn manners. Some of them do, some of them don't. But most of them just enjoy the freedom of it.
And who wouldn't?
I know.
Who would
You
not
get to
want
play in the
be
park without
Running
anybody
around,
telling you.
sure.
Exactly. So there are rules.
Yep.
With every park, there are rules.
Yes.
And the rules are posted
Yes.
in
Yes.
the park so that everybody is aware of them. And what are some of the rules?
Oh, first one I love is no food,
No food, no drinks.
toys, no drinks.
Yeah.
You can't bring a ball in and so that said throw the ball for your dog and tell the other dogs they can't chase it.
Exactly.
Can't.
They're not going to get
Exactly.
that. And then
Exactly.
sometimes you get aggression. And so we just decided that no toys was better. They can play around, they can run, there's a big area, and no food, same reason. If you can't bring enough for
That
everybody,
makes sense.
Yeah.
then
And
it's
no
not-
treats.
and no
because
treats.
My hound will find them.
They
Yeah.
will
In
all
your
line
pocket.
up.
Yeah,
They-
my hound will go sit when we used to go to a couple other dog parks because my boyfriend and I used to travel a lot, and I'd see Max and he'd go over and he'd be sitting down next to this gentleman that was in the dog park, and Fred would say to me, "What is he doing?" And I said, "He must have treats in his pocket."
So you
He's
can't.
waiting because he can
Right.
smell it. A hound can
and if one has one, the other one wants it. So it's
Yeah.
it's like that's the first overall rule. The other one is you have to pick up after your pet.
So
Please.
important.
Yes,
That's
that's
huge.
important.
Yes.
I was trying to think of age. There's an age limit to we have 18 and over.
Right.
No kids, because Lizette had an incident. She saw one at another park where a little kid. That's all it takes. They run, they squeal,
They flap their
they
hands.
flap their hands,
and they get the dogs excited.
Gets the dogs excited. So it is a dog park. It is not a people park.
And I love that because it appears that your committee put some serious thought into
Yeah,
this.
we had some objections to some of the, there are some objections to some of the rules that we did, but for now, that's the way they are. They're going to stay in place,
For a year.
For a year or so.
So that
And
we
we'll
can
go back
You'll
over them,
evaluate.
weight
Evaluate,
them
yep.
again. Yes, yeah.
And so how is it going? Is the park, there is also a membership fee,
Yes.
Right, it's $25 for a membership and $10 for the fob.
and that's an annual
Yep.
fee.
The
Yes.
fob is one time.
Right.
You get the fob for $10, and then every year you have to pay $25
Right.
for the membership fee.
And the reason,
So you have a card that
Yep,
you
little-
yeah,
like
you
a
take your
key.
fob and you
Oh, the
scan the
fob,
gate, and
okay.
the light turns green, and then you push the gate,
go in.
and then you go in.
What are the hours that the park is accessible?
Right now, they're open from
8 to 8.
8 to 8, basically.
same as the city parks.
Right.
Okay.
We thought we might like to try to dusk or whatever, but the
It's
Mary
summertime
Raposa,
now.
and it's
Yeah,
summer.
time now,
Mary
so it gets
Raposa from
darker
Parks and Rec
later.
said they could, some people come after work. Not everybody can go during the day.
And that's because this park is managed by the
city,
city,
yeah.
New Bedford Parks, Recreation, and Beaches. And how did you receive the funds for this park?
What we did was I had Barbara Snyder come in from the Falmouth Dog Park. We had a meeting with Mary Raposa and Jane, and she had established her dog park in Falmouth. And so Mary and her had a discussion, and Mary said there were some foundations around that helped build the dog park. So Mary went on the research, and she found the Stanton Foundation. So she wrote up the grant for the Stanton Foundation. And they're very particular about the park and different things. It has to be a certain way. And so it was a process, you know. She applied for the grant, I think it was in 2013, and we didn't hear back till like 2014.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that apply for these grants.
Yes,
from this company.
there's a bunch of other dog parks around that have applied for the Stanton Foundation grant.
And we know we have many parks within the city, and as much as we love parks, the upkeep over time is something that can be problematic. So are there things that the committee is looking at, fundraising initiatives? You do have the membership fee, but you do
And it
require
has to
more.
be, we have to maintain this so that this will stay, Marci, the beautiful park
Yeah,
that
and
it
this
is.
is the reason why of the $25 membership, because it takes anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 yearly to maintain the park. We have an osmosis system underneath the pea stones that every night around 8:30 it comes on and it washes down all the pea stones. We have a fountain, a water fountain that replenishes the water after the dog drinks the water, so the water is not stagnant or stale, so they get sick.
And we're always thinking of things we want to add. Like right now, there are benches in the middle. We want to do some along the side. That all costs money.
Exactly.
So we kind of hope that throughout the summer people will see us, because we're going to kind of be, pardon the pun, hounding them for donations because we need this money for the dog park.
We started a fundraising committee. And so we're going to have some yappy hours around in some of the businesses downtown and up the north end. We're going to try to utilize some of the other parks like Brooklawn Park and Hazelwood Park to have different things. We're talking about having a doggy car wash.
We're talking about a lot of the local businesses. We're hoping they'll get involved.
Yeah, a lot of them have come forward and that have dogs and stuff and say that
and that's the point. So many people are dog owners, so you know, if you're passionate about pets, it's something that you would want to support.
Absolutely.
We should also, I don't believe we've mentioned where the park is located.
Okay, it's south of Keith Middle School, kind of across the parking lot from New Bedford High School.
Is that Ruggles?
Ruggles and Greenwood.
Ruggles and Greenwood.
Right.
Okay.
And the interesting thing, Marci, is right across the street at the high school, for years Jack called high school football and basketball.
Yes, he did.
So that corner sort of is like perfect for him.
Yeah,
so.
it is.
And also, too, that I wanted to mention, when Mary Raposa applied for the Stanton Foundation, I like history, so I was always, who is this man? What does he do? And we ended up finding out that he was the president of CBS
Network.
for 25, 27
Didn't know
years.
that.
Yeah. And then
Frank
when
Stanton.
Henry decided to name the park after Jack, I said, how apropos is that?
Kind of like full circle.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
It was meant
Yes.
to be.
It was meant to be. And you received so much support from the city council.
Oh,
Yes.
they were wonderful.
Many of them
Yes.
They were
were,
wonderful.
because you actually started the idea of a dog park in
2008. And then later on, we, after Jane left, we formed a feasibility of the dog park committee with Naomi Connie and Debbie Coelho, because now they were the dog park committee. You know, and they helped us with different things in the process and trying to get this to come full circle. And Mayor Mitchell.
One of the
did
reasons
it.
that you have the support is the city does have a subcommittee, which is a dog park
Right.
subcommittee. So, which just says that the city of New Bedford, we are concerned about our animals, and we want to make sure that they're loved and protected
And they're city animals.
and have a
Yes.
quality of life.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
And we just had a dog park seminar down at Hazelwood Park last Thursday to talk about harmonious hounds came, to talk about the safety in the dog park, how to deal with the 4th of July that's coming up with the fireworks, because that's always a big issue with the dogs.
The ears.
Yes,
And the noise.
and the sound. And I have a hound, and he's already heard a few of them, and
They're already
they don't
starting.
like. Yeah, they're already started. So they put on a great seminar. They brought some dogs with them to show us how they train them to go in and out of the door, to come
That sounds
when you're
interesting.
called.
There are manners you have to do when you come in. There is a place you come in,
Right.
you take the leash off, then you go into another
So in
gate.
terms of the membership, there's a $25 annual fee.
Yes.
Correct.
What, aside from access to the park, what are some of the advantages of being a member? These lectures or workshops?
Right, and there are
Shops.
also, a lot of them don't know, but now if you buy a membership to the park, you can be on our Friends
You can-
group.
we'd love to have you
You
join
can
the
come to
Friends
our
group.
meetings, because right now, our next agenda is fundraising. You know, like I said, it costs anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a year to maintain that park. And so fundraising is essential right now. So
Definitely.
this was the reason.
And we talked about, we're a small committee now, but we would love more people to come. If they,
Right. We had a meet and greet was part of that seminar
say,
last
come,
Thursday to
you know.
try to
Well,
get
you
new
just
members.
you just put that out to our
There we go.
listeners. They heard that, I'm sure, that you're looking for volunteers, for members. When do you meet?
We generally meet the second Tuesday of every month at City Hall in the Ashley Room. If the Ashley Room's not available, we'll meet maybe in the Rosalind Paul Brooker Room.
Yeah.
Or room 314
Or
Yep,
314.
14.
Sure.
at City
sure.
Hall. And what time are your meetings?
We meet at 6:30.
So your meetings are open to the
Open,
public?
Yes,
everybody,
anybody
yep.
can come. Anybody can come. Even if, say, somebody, you know, because there are people that
lost it.
they lost a dog.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah, we were talking about that. They lost a dog, but they like to be involved. They could come and be involved. We have, you know, someone. We have a Facebook page. We have a Gmail account.
Right.
So we always need help with that. With sending out letters, newsletters, and thank you cards and invitations.
So it sounds like there's an opportunity for, you
yep.
could use a lot of volunteers.
Yeah, there's 5,000 dogs in the city of New
Licensed.
Bedford.
in the
Licensed.
city. 5,000, according to
Yeah.
Manny Maciel, our animal
Yeah.
control officer.
And Manny's, you know, he oversees the park. If there's any issues or any problems, they call Manny. There's a thing on the fence about calling Manny and animal control, and he maintains that.
We're
for
proud
us.
that it's not just a piece of property with a fence around it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it is a
special.
park.
It's special.
It's special.
It's special.
Beautiful.
I'm sure it is. So speaking of special, let's talk about your pets.
Oh, hit it. Start with Max.
Lizette, how
I
many
have-
pets do you have?
I just have one. I have a beagle. My boyfriend passed away a couple of years ago, and Fred had beagles before, and so he went to obedience school. But the thing was,
Max,
Fred,
not Fred.
not Fred, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, Max. But Fred trained the dog, so now I have the dog, so I'm alone with the dog. So now I have to go back to school because the trainer said now, because Fred had passed, that I need to go back and train with the dog. So until I do that, then I'll get my fob to go to the park.
to the park.
Yeah, because I want, because he's a hound and
Yes.
he smells everything, you know, and he's real good. We took him to the dog park since he was a puppy. We traveled a lot, Fred and I, and so he knows all about the dog parks. And if he gets scared or nervous, he hides under the bench. He
knows what
so
to do.
he's fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, he hasn't gone there yet. But once I go back and finish the obedience school again, then Max will adventure out into this park.
Great. And Lenny?
I have Murphy, and Murphy came, the best we can figure, Murphy came, I adopted him through Lighthouse Animal Shelter and Susie. Hockerlots, and Murphy, we think, was born the same year, about the same time that Jack passed. So there is a theory floating out there that Jack sent me Murphy.
Oh, how beautiful.
And he is the, Lisette met him, he is the goofiest dog. He's a hound mix from the South, North and South Carolina. But he goes to the park. He doesn't always play well with others, so I'm more comfortable if we go alone. But he will go and search the park. He loves to do that. I think Jack would have loved this dog, and I think he probably did send him to me, because that sounds like something Jack would do. So I'm thrilled. He's 4 years old. I've had him for 2 years. And he's my buddy, he's my pal.
That's a beautiful, beautiful story.
Yeah,
beautiful thought. And it speaks to the beauty of pets, the joy of pets. I had small children, so I just couldn't take on a pet when my children were small because they kept us so busy. But now also myself being a widow and my children having adults and moved on, many people have been saying, you should think about getting a pet, and I am thinking about it.
It is. They are. I mean, there are days when it's not great days, and Murphy is right there.
Yeah, Max too.
And Max too. And hounds are terrific. I mean, they happen to be my breed of choice, but I mean, every dog has a specialty to them, I'm sure. I just think that if you love animals, you find a way. If you, for some reason, if you live in an apartment and you can't have them, go to a shelter, walk the dogs.
Just volunteer.
Just volunteer somewhere.
And then by the time you finish volunteering, you'll
say, I'm tired, I'm going home,
Yeah.
the dog stays here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did that too. So I still try to volunteer, even though I have Murphy. But it's, I mean, I know what you mean. It's and the house gets kind of lonely.
Right.
It's quiet. It's quiet.
And being that this show today was speaking about pets and dogs, I probably should have told you to bring Murphy and Max.
Oh my
However, well,
Would
Max
they have
is
been
still
allowed? Yeah.
in training.
Murphy would have been good. He probably would have been
Max,
visiting you
too.
around, but
Yeah.
they would have been good. He's very laid back, this dog. He is very southern. That's the joke in our house. But every once in a while, the puppy comes out in him, and it's like, really, where'd that come from?
So Murphy has been utilizing the dog
Yes,
park?
he has been. Yeah,
And
he likes it.
through Murphy likes it?
Murphy likes it. And I will, there's a row of trees, as Lisette said, so sometimes I lose him, and I go, Murphy, where are you? And he pops up from behind a tree. And then we play hide and seek behind the trees. So I had to ask the kids who set up the park if there was a camera, because if there was a camera, I was going to end up on YouTube, and I didn't want that. So they said, no, why? And we'll play hide and seek behind the trees. And then when he's done, comes and gets me, walks over to the gate, has a little drink of water, and we leave.
That's
So
great.
he's got his own little routine already.
You mentioned the kids that set up the park.
Yeah. We had,
Speak about that.
they are members of our dog park committee.
Yes, the
And
friends group.
they were president, vice president, etc., and they got through a lot of the paperwork that was done. And so now the park is done, so everybody gets to enjoy it. But they did a lot of hard work. Everybody on the committee
Yes.
did a lot of hard
Yes.
work. It
They
was,
did.
We
So
all
you
worked hard.
You said that you have a Facebook page. Do you have, is there any way folks listening today, if they wanted to make donations
That's
to the
on there,
dog
too.
park, how would
It's
they
on
do
the-
that?
They can do it on the Facebook page, or we also have a Gmail page. It's Captain. Well, it's not.
It's
Cap-
it's Captain Jack Dog Park. That's all one
At
word.
gmail
At
dot-
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Facebook is Captain, spell it out, Captain Jack Peterson Dog Park, and you
Okay.
can make donations.
And we will get that on the screen. And if anyone's watching today and you are a pet owner and you love pets and you want to see this dog park become sustainable, which is very important, please make a donation.
That's we'd love it. We would love it.
And also, if you'd like to get involved, we've learned today that there are many volunteer opportunities within the park. So we ask that,
Absolutely.
who should they contact?
They can do that through the Facebook page.
Facebook
too.
page too. I'm head of the fundraising committee, so right now, if anybody wants to help out with any kind of fundraising or anything,
Can do that
they
too.
can do that too. They can.
And are there any upcoming, speaking of fundraisers, is there anything in the works?
In the works, but not set.
Right. We have possibly doing, like on one of the pizza shops, doing a donation as part of the sale of the pizza in the evening would go, a percentage of it, 15% of it would go to the dog park.
We have the Yappy Hour.
We have the
several
Yappy
people about
Hour,
that. That's when you bring your dog. It's an outside, like an outside cafe. You can bring your dog. Dog can't drink, but you can bring your dog.
Right. Some of them will be able to bring the dogs, and some of them we won't. But yeah, and then
And what will the dog owners receive at the Yappy Hour?
well, what they do is it's same kind of thing where the restaurant or the venue would have a percentage of the sales that night would go to the dog park.
So you know
Oh,
you're donating.
So they
to
would
the
have
park.
dog item,
I see.
you know, maybe appetizers named after dogs
Dog
on their menu,
Okay.
Different things like that. Same thing with the car
Nice
wash.
idea.
Yeah, the
a
dogs
nice
can
idea.
get their nails clipped when they come for the doggy wash, and
Stuff like that.
maybe wash the car if they
At the same
want.
time, you know,
Yeah.
no doubt.
And so how are the members that are utilizing the park, how is that going? Is everyone cleaning up after their pets? Are they following the rules?
Once in a while, they don't.
Yeah, once in a while they're slack.
They're
but
slack.
That's okay because
But we go in. I go in, and you know.
yeah. And
There's
even if
bags.
I don't bring Max yet, you know, I go by and stop to make sure, and
Everybody.
I talk to people, and
And how is that being monitored? Are there any cameras
No.
in the park?
So
No.
far, not yet.
no, we've talked about having cameras possibly maybe later on in the park.
And you're kind of on your best behavior, sort of.
Yes.
It's like you've got to behave.
Yeah, you've got to have that dog park etiquette too. The
Yeah.
owners, you got to be responsible.
be
You know, the park is so all these dog owners will be responsible and take care of the things, whether they're in the park or whether they're out of the
Outside,
park.
yeah.
To
Right.
follow the leash laws, you know, there's a lot of leash laws that a lot of people don't know about and that need to be followed, and that's part of the reason for the dog park.
And if
Right.
you took your kids to the park, you'd watch your kids.
Absolutely.
Take your dog to
to
the
the
park,
park.
you watch your dog.
That is so true. Well, ladies, we are just about out of time, but I so enjoyed catching up with
we
you
thank you
and
for having
finding
us.
Thanks for
out
having us. Yes.
about this new offering in the city of New Bedford. Today we've been talking about the Captain Jack Peterson Dog Park, new in the city of New Bedford. And take your pet there and find out how wonderful this offering is to our pets in the city of New Bedford. Well, thank you, Lenny.
Thank you. Thank you,
Pleasure
Marci, for
meeting
having
you.
us.
Lizette, good
Thank you,
seeing you
Marci.
again.
Thank you,
Thanks
Marci.
for
And
having
thank you.
us.
You're so welcome. And thank you for watching today. And we will see you next time on Neighborhood Update.